Okay, good morning, children. Today the topic is differences between the cerebrum and the cerebellum. Okay, divide the two columns like this: cerebrum, and one side you can write. Okay, another side you can write cerebellum. What are the difference between these two? We are going to discuss now. The first point about the cerebrum. It is the part of forebrain. It is the part of forebrain. This is the point you should have to remember. Forebrain part, cerebrum. The second one, it is a part of, it is a part of hindbrain. It's a part of hindbrain. This point you should have to remember. Next one. It is the largest part. Okay, largest part. 80% of the brain is this one. 80% of the brain. Okay, largest part. 80% of the brain, cerebrum. It is a much smaller. It's smaller, and 12.5% of the brain. It occupies the 12.5% of the brain, the space. Okay. It forms very important. It forms the front. It forms the front, superior, lateral, and lateral sides. Okay, lateral sides of the brain. Now, what about that? So, it is also very easy points. It lies the posterior region of the brain. It lies posterior region of the brain. Posterior region of the brain. This point you should have to remember. Next one. It has two parts. What are the two parts? It has two parts. Number one, what you called cerebral hemispheres. Two cerebral hemispheres. Okay, these words you have to remember. What about this? The cerebellum, it has three parts. How many parts? Three parts. What are that one? Two cerebral hemispheres. Okay, two cerebral hemispheres. Cerebellar. Okay, cerebellar hemispheres. Number one. Number two, another important one. One central location. Central. Okay, vermis. A small space is there. That is called central vermis is there. Next, two cavities are present. Here, two cavities are there. These cavities are there. What you called? They will be called lateral ventricles. Lateral ventricles. Remember these names. What about this? This one, the cerebellum. This one, two, very important. The cavity is nearly absent. Here cavity is absent. This point you should have to remember. Next, what about this one? It is the seat of intelligence. Seat of intelligence and memory. Seat of intelligence and memory. What about that point? This one. It is coordinate muscular activities. Coordinates muscular activities. This point you should have to remember. Next one, it controls the movements. Okay, movements. Number 1, speech. Number 2, speech. Number 3, sight. Okay, number 4, smell. Number 5, taste. Number 6, hearing. Number 7, what you called intelligence. Okay, this point you should have to remember. What about this? Equilibrium. Main function is equilibrium. What you called equilibrium. Okay, equilibrium of the body. Equilibrium of the body under control of this one. Okay, children, should listen very carefully. So, continuation. Yesterday we discussed about the complete brain, forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain and their functions. Now, the major differences, you will get confusion in between these two. What is cerebrum, what is cerebellum? Both are little bit similar like that. But what are the exact location of the cerebrum and what are the location of cerebellum? And what are the functions of cerebrum and cerebellum? We have to know. We will, for clarity, here I am writing the differences between these two, cerebrum and cerebellum. Cerebrum, it is a part of the forebrain. Means you know forebrain. First brain is there or not? Front brain. So front brain part is cerebrum. It is the part of hindbrain. Which one? Cerebellum. Cerebrum is the part of forebrain. Cerebellum is the part of hindbrain. It is the largest part of the brain. Means in the brain, if you see 80% of the space, 80% of the space or 80% portion is cerebrum. What about this? This point you should have to remember. This is the smallest 12.5%, means much smaller. What we call much smaller part, 12.5% of the brain. So here 80%, here 12.5%. Next one, it forms the, what cerebrum will forms? It forms the front, superior and lateral sides. So front, superior, lateral. Front means you know very well, front part, superior part, okay, lateral parts, like that. What we called the parts will be, sides will be formed by the cerebrum. So brain have 3 parts, no? Front, superior, lateral. These all are forming because of cerebrum. So it forms the front, superior and lateral sides of the brain. Now what about the cerebellum? It lies posterior region of the brain. So which one posterior? Anterior means first, posterior means last. So the posterior region of the brain is forming by the help of cerebellum. The next one, it has 2 parts. The cerebrum has 2 parts. What are the 2 parts of cerebrum? There are 2 cerebral hemispheres. Here what? 3 parts. What are the 3 parts? One is 2 cerebral hemispheres. Okay. Then cerebellar, not cerebrum. Don't confuse. This is cerebral cerebellar outside. Hemispheres are there. Next, there will be central vermis is also present. What is called central vermis is present. That is also one of the important, central vermis. The next one, the 2 cavities. You know, spaces are there in between the cerebrum. Those spaces are cavities, 2 cavities are there. They will be called lateral ventricles. What is called? Lateral ventricles. In the cerebellum, cavities are absent. What is called? Cavity is absent. So like this, the cavities are there. Okay, in the what is called in the cerebrum. So primarily, secondary, tertiary, quaternary, like four cavities or 4 ventricles are there. So but 2 cavities, the 2 cavities, lateral ventricles are present in the cerebrum. Here the cavities is absent. This cerebrum is called seat of intelligence and memory. Means, suppose you know seat of intelligence means you are intelligence, you are remembering all the things. Okay, all the names you are remembering while you are studying, all the concepts you are remembering, whatever you are thinking, that one is appearing in your what you called mind, how that will be, how that memory, how that intelligence is getting in the sense because of your cerebrum. But what it will do, what cerebellum will do, it is a seat of intelligence and memory, cerebrum. What cerebellum will do, it coordinates the which one, muscular activities, means muscle movements, in between the muscle actions, the coordination is under control of which one, this cerebellum. Next, the functions of cerebrum. What functions will be performed by the cerebrum? The functions of the cerebrum is movements of the body, speech, sight means vision, smell, taste, healing and intelligence. What are those? Movements, speech, sight, smell, okay, taste, healing and intelligence under control are controlled by cerebrum. And what about the cerebellum? The cerebellum maintains your equilibrium, so we are standing properly, we are not falling because of which one, cerebellum. So we are standing, the balance is going on in our body, our equilibrium is going on in our body, in the sense that is because of cerebellum. So these two are the very important parts of the brain. So these are the major differences between the cerebrum and cerebellum. Okay children, so next content we are going to discuss cerebrum and cerebellum. Okay children, next the functions of the brain. We are going to discuss about the functions of the brain. Functions of the brain. We are discussing about functions of the brain. The first functions, receives, okay, receives. What function receives? Okay, information, receives information. Okay, from where the receives information? Carrying impulses from, carrying, this word you should have to remember, carrying impulses from, okay, all the sensory organs, all the sensory organs, this point you have to remember, all the sensory organs of the body, this point, first point. Okay, so it responds to the stimulus, response, okay, whatever the stimulus will come, responds to the impulses, okay, this also under control of brain. Okay, next one, sends the instruction, sends the instructions, this also one of the important function. So responds to the impulses and the sends the instructions to which one, muscles, glands, muscles and glands, this point also I should remember. Okay, next, this one, this is produces the appropriate intelligence response. The brain produces the produces, very very important, produces appropriate okay, appropriate and intelligence response, okay, intelligence response, that is also done by the brain. Next, coordinates the body activities. The brain function, another function, coordinates the body activities. These points you should have to remember. Okay, so next one, stores the information. The brain stores the information, means memory, like that, stores the information. Okay, so behavior can be modified according to the experience. So our behavior, human behavior modified. Behavior is modified. Behavior is modified according to the past, according to the past experience, according to the past. Very, very important. Past experience. Okay, children, this is a one important point. Next, this function brain organ of thought and intelligence. Overall, what we can say, the brain is organ of thought and intelligence. Thought and intelligence. This is another important word. Okay, children. So observe very carefully. We are discussing the functions of the brain. Okay, you know very well the functions of the brain. Without brain, there is no intelligence, no memory, no life at all. First, what is the functions? Functions of the brain, it receives the information. Suppose brain is here. What it will do? It receives the information. Okay, carrying the impulses from where? From sensory organs to, okay, the information is received by the brain. Okay, sensory organs of which one? You know, sensory organs of the body. The information is going to the brain. Then brain responds to the impulses. Brain will be response to the impulses and sends the instruction to the muscles. Okay, so according to the what you call impulse, the instructions will be come from which one? Brain. Here what? Sensory neurons. Here what? Motor neurons will be function. Okay, first what? Receives the information, carrying impulse from all the sensory organs of the body, then responds to the impulses, then sends the instructions to the muscles and the glands. That is the first point. Second one, it produces appropriate and intelligence response. So immediately what response will come? That response should have to go muscles and glands. So intelligence response. Suppose we are asking the question. You are answering according to that question. So that is called intelligence response. How that intelligence response is coming? Because of the brain. So brain produces appropriate and intelligence response. This point you should have to remember. And next, another important function of the brain, it coordinates the body activities. All body activities under what you call brain. So all body activities under control of brain only. So that's why the body activity is coordinating by the brain. And next, memory. What brain will do? It stores the information and memory like that, and behavior is modified according to the past experience. So how our behavior will be changed? According to the past experience, our behavior will be modified. That process also, modification of our behavior also according to the past experience under control of our brain. That's why these all the functions the brain is doing. That's why the brain is called organ of thought and intelligence. So we are thinking, our thought is very important, and intelligence, we are showing the what we call intelligence. So that is the reason the brain is also called, what is the brain? Organ of thought and intelligence. So these are the main functions of the brain. So children, what we discussed in the brain? For brain we discussed number 1. Okay, second, what we discussed? Midbrain. Okay, so in this concept what we discussed? Forebrain we discussed. You know, forebrain is called seat of intelligence. The midbrain helpful for, you know very well, corpora quadrigemina, movements reflexes, auditory reflexes will be there in the midbrain. And the last one, you know very well, hindbrain divided into, you know very well, cerebellum and what we called pons and medulla oblongata. These all we discussed, and what are the functions also we discussed. Later we discussed about the difference between the what we called cerebrum and cerebellum. Next we discussed what you call the functions of brain. Okay, later we discussed what functions of the brain. The next what we discussed the most important the differences and what are the main activities of the brain also we covered in this topic. Tomorrow we are going to discuss with the next concept. What is that next concept? What are the central nervous system? Another component, spinal cord. Okay, tomorrow I will draw the diagram and explain about the brain, and I will start the spinal cord. Thank you, children. Thank you very much. Tomorrow we are going to meet with the spinal cord.